In this video, we're going to have a look at importing samples. Now, I have to say that personally, I find the sounds so inspiring and interesting within Playbox. I'm not sure if the ability to import samples is going to be something that I'm going to want to do too much because, as I said, I just find it such an inspirational instrument and there's so many samples in there to choose from as well. But this is how you do it should you be interested in doing that. So Playbox enables you to import and manage your own samples, and you can use those to populate the sample matrix. So let's choose a different preset here. Try this one. And I'm just going to come to the effects and switch off the arpeggiation or the strum setting there. Let's move back across to the samples. Now, this is where we can go through and actually individually load in samples. So let's choose the synth category and we'll choose this chord here. Okay, let's click on the magnifying glass to open that up. Now, at the moment, I have nothing loaded up here, but I can use these 4 user banks to be able to add samples in there. So the user banks 1 to 4 are used to import and organize your own samples, and each user slot can hold up to 90 samples. So this list can hold 90 samples for each one of the 4 user banks. So the archive also will collect imported samples that are used in the sample matrix and saved as part of the user presets and sample sets. So the samples are going to show up in this user slot when loading the respective user preset and sample set after closing and opening Playbox. And the archive can also hold 90 samples. Now the user slots are also available within the category selector on the samples page, the main samples page, so you can use them to randomize from as well. Now the samples you load into your own user slots can be saved as part of your DAW project. Alternatively, you'd have to save them as a snapshot because they're not actually saved otherwise, so just be aware of that. Okay, so let's load some samples in. Now I've got some just electric piano samples here that I'm going to drag and drop in here, like so. And Playbox is going to analyze these. And now if you see when we click on these individual samples, we have this little window here which gives us access to certain features. So first of all, it's going to read the root note from the file from its analysis. So it's saying, okay, the pitch is C4. We can also force it to scan from the sample as well. So if there's maybe a discrepancy between the pitch and the pitch here, you can scan from the sample and try and reanalyze the sample for the pitch. We can also change the octave here by clicking on these little arrows. And we have this little button next to the pitch, which is an audition button. This is going to switch MIDI playback to a basic piano sound that can be played across the entire keyboard. And you can use this mode to play different pitches and compare them with your sample. Let's turn the effects off because it's a bit hard to compare. Okay, so that can be quite useful to make sure the pitch is analysed correctly. Now we can also change the endpoint of the sample to make it shorter or extend it if needs be. So we've got various different things we can do with the sample in terms of editing it from here. Now if we wanted to delete some of these samples from the list, we can go through and click on this little cross here. Alternatively, we can click here and we could delete all of the samples. So it will clear the whole selection. And that's how we can import samples. So then we could go through and whenever we want to access one of our samples, we go along and do that from here. So it can be a quite useful way of adding in your own samples. And as I said, you can save this as part of your DAW project. Alternatively, if you come across to the snapshots menu here, you can save a snapshot like so. And that will be loaded up there, and that will also save your user selection as well. So that's how you can import and edit your own samples. So remember, we did that by coming across to the sample matrix here and clicking on the magnifying glass. And then we added those sounds in. Let's just delete them all here. And we'll come back to the Finder. And we had these electric piano sounds here. So drag and drop those in. It's then going to go ahead and analyze these, give us the root note. We can audition this using audition a basic piano against this to make sure the pitch is right. Scan from sample. We can click on this little volume to audition it, and we can also truncate or change the endpoint of the sample like so. And remember, you need to save this as a snapshot or as a DAW project to keep the user content saved there. And that is loading and editing your own samples. Okay, so now we've covered that. In the final video, we're going to have a look at some ways that you can use this plugin. So I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.